Most of us made the mistake of buying our first crypto on a centralized exchange, where we handed over KYC, we did the face scan, which pretty much linked our coins to ourselves forever. Worse yet, with governments increasing crypto regulations left and right, some even trying to tax your unrealized gains, the natural question is, can we fix our past blockchain screw-ups? Is there a way to sever the chain between ourselves and our identity to keep our crypto long-term and anonymously? And the answer is yes. It's called chainhopping. In this video, we'll break down exactly what it is, how can you do it yourself without needing a degree from Stanford or MIT, but most importantly, how you can anonymize your coins from leeches like the taxman or your ex-wife. But without further ado, let's dive in. If you were smart enough to remove your crypto from centralized exchanges before DAC8 and CARF kicked into force starting with this year, well, congratulations. Technically speaking, your coins are not going to be automatically reported to the taxman, and yet they still reek from the perfume of all of your past extramarital affairs. The taxman, much like your ex-wife, has 101 ways to make you sign that checkbook. Just look at Europe and all those socialist countries like Norway, Spain, Switzerland, and they've all implemented a wealth tax. Some have even gone the extra mile, such as Denmark's tax authority, the SCAT, appropriately named after animal shit. Well, they are taxing you on unrealized capital gains, meaning even if you haven't sold those coins, they'll treat it as if it were sold. If you haven't made a profit, you may still have to pay 44% tax. Now, obviously, the most anonymous way to hold your wealth is in Monero, which is why I'll be speaking at this year's MoneroCon in Warsaw, Poland on June 6th. Since Monero's biggest bottleneck isn't technical, it is cashing it out, the talk is going to focus on getting it into bank accounts, into property, into hard assets through the carbon credit loophole. So for those of you interested in private assets such as Monero, the conference's link will be in the description down below. But coming back to the topic, if you did not hold XMR, if you have KYC crypto, you can't anonymize it by simply removing it from a centralized exchange and then sending it around a bunch of wallet addresses. They can still be traced. They have entire blockchain surveillance companies funded by the taxman's dollars whose job is to scour the entire blockchain with their software, trying to link these wallet addresses back to a real person's identity. And I'm not going to bore you with the technical jargon, but in simple terms, the way that they track you is by looking at your coin's footprint. Much like footprints in the snow, almost all the non-private cryptos, such as Bitcoin, they leave a trail. So if you move your Bitcoin from wallet A to wallet B and then from wallet B to C, the blockchain will show a continuous path. And it doesn't matter if you swap your wallet addresses, you can change your shoes in the snow, you can walk around in circles, that can still be linked back to you. So the question is, how do you sever the trail? Simple, you're gonna chain hop through Monero. And chain hopping is jumping from one crypto highway to another. So in this case, you're going from the Bitcoin highway and temporarily swapping your coins into Monero. And Monero acts like an underground tunnel where you can't see what's going on behind the scenes, because unlike Bitcoin, it does not show who sent the coins, doesn't show who received the coins or the amount that was sent in the first place. And you're gonna use that privacy to your advantage by getting rid of those KYC coins. You get your Monero, and then from Monero, you can swap it back into the coin of your choice. But note, the crypto you will end up with will no longer be your original coins. Now, there are two main methods on how to chain hop your coins. Naturally, we'll be using non-KYC'd exchanges. And the first one is through instant swap services. These guys do not even require you to make an account. They don't ask for KYC. Instead, you simply send your Bitcoin, and much like an exchange booth at an airport, they hold their own pool of cryptos. So they take from their own reserves, Monero, and give it to you in return. That's why it happens instantaneously. However, because the blockchain is public, the enemy, chain analysis companies, they can see that your Bitcoin has used one of these swap services because their wallets are public. And therefore, if, God forbid, you're ever traced by these analysis companies, they can subpoena these swap services for any information they have on you. Granted, they don't collect KYC, but they do collect metadata, such as your IP address. So from their perspective, they can see that Bitcoin tied to your IP converted it into Monero. They don't know what's going on with Monero afterwards because it's untraceable, but the transaction itself can rouse suspicion. That's why the recommended route on the dark web is to actually use decentralized peer-to-peer marketplaces, such as RedoSwap. In this case, you're trading your Bitcoin for Monero with a random Joe Schmo on the other side of planet Earth. And from the blockchain perspective, the enemy only sees your Bitcoin going from your wallet to a completely random wallet address. The chain analysis companies cannot see your crypto going into Monero because there is no middleman that's logging all of that information. So it gives you far stronger privacy from the Bitcoin to Monero side, though there is a double-edged sword. Because it is purely decentralized and anybody can use this swap service, a lot of hackers, ransomware guys, also darknet marketplace vendors, also swap their coins through these services. And there is no guarantee that the crypto that you will receive in the end is not tainted or dirty, meaning used with illegal marketplaces. That's not a problem on the Monero front because you can't see the history of the coin. All Monero is the same. There is no such thing as a dirty or tainted XMR, but it absolutely is a problem with Bitcoin. That is why the more balanced approach is to get your Bitcoin into Monero through these decentralized peer-to-peer marketplaces. You keep that privacy, but then when you want to cash it out into the coin of your choice, you use those instant swap services. And the reason is simple. All these instant swaps, they usually have AML bots that filter out the dirty coins. Therefore, the coins that you receive have a higher chance of being clean. Next, understand that the enemy, aka the blockchain surveillance companies, do not rely on the transaction history alone. They use heuristics, or in simple English, educated guesses, probability. And the way I can explain it to you is, say you have 13.5 Bitcoin and you convert it into Monero through one of those swap services, and then 30 minutes later, you chain hop it back into your original coin. Sure, those new Bitcoin are not KYC'd, and yet, from the enemy's perspective, it looks like it's still you because in a very short amount of time, there is one massive transaction that sticks out like a sore thumb. And most importantly, there are very few people who even have $1 million to convert in the first place. So even though definitively they can't prove it's you, the probability is very high. So what do you do about it? Don't be retarded. Instead of going with $1 million transfer, you break it down into smaller amounts. Say 0.2 Bitcoin, you can convert it into Monero, and then you wait. You wait a day or so before converting it back into the coin of your choice. You send it to a completely different wallet address, and you rinse and repeat with a completely different amount the next time. Say 0.15 Bitcoin to a different wallet address, and that is called peel chaining. From the enemy's standpoint, it is far harder to pinpoint that it is you because you blend in with the noise of the swap service. When it comes to your first transfer, your job is to find the best swap services based on the fees, the reputation, as well as their liquidity. And some of the directories that will definitely help you include OrangeFriend, where they list all the swap services that take Monero. KYC Not Me is going to list the ones that may require instant verification of your identity if the amounts are a bit shady or suspicious, aka Shotgun KYC, and bestchange.biz is going to list the exchange's reserves. Now, while I did say that decentralized peer-to-peer marketplaces, such as RedoSwap, are great to get your Monero, and by all means, for smaller amounts, use it, the problem is liquidity. Simply put, very few people use that service, and therefore, if you have 6 figures or even 7 figures, it's going to be very hard for you to find the other person for your trade. That is why you're probably going to be forced to go through those instant swaps, because they take larger volumes and they're also faster. Final point. A lot of folks on the dark web, especially in the OPSEC Bibles, they will recommend you to Chainhop through a virtual machine that is tied to Unix. For most folks who are not operating a darknet marketplace or shady, that's overkill. We've seen in past law enforcement cases, if the shady activity was caught, it was almost always because the guy forgot to turn on his VPN or was using his Gmail account. So, solution is very simple but effective. Don't be a drunk Colombian. Use your VPN. Make sure to Chainhop through Tor, because that avoids all those rookie mistakes of having your Gmail account logged in the background. And of course, make yourself a bunch of crypto wallets where you're going to receive those Chainhop coins, and also get yourself a Monero wallet so that you can receive Monero. And then you can start Chainhopping. We always begin with a small test amount, say $80, to see how the flow goes with each swap service, and only then do you gradually increase the individual transfer size. We're never going above 5 figures. Remember, we're trying to blend in with the exchange's activity. We're not trying to stand out like a traffic cone. And here's an interesting tip if you have to use those instant swaps, which is instead of doing the entire transfer on a single exchange, you're going to convert some of your crypto into Monero on one of them, and then you cash out the Monero on a completely different swap service. And you can rotate in between them as many times as you want. The point being that the enemy, if they were ever to use those educated guesses or heuristics, well, now all of a sudden they don't have a straight line of sight where they see a pattern where coins are coming in and coming straight out. So, God forbid, your coins are already being traced, they have the IP address, and they subpoena one of those exchanges. Well, each exchange only has a limited amount of information on you. Once your coins have been successfully chain-hopped, they'll be sitting in a bunch of fresh wallets, and then the choice is yours, whether you want to consolidate them into a single wallet and hold your crypto long-term, or you can off-ramp them. Talked about business structures in past videos, but here's a directory with all the crypto debit cards that you can still get to this day. Some of them are non-KYC'd as well. But that is it for this video. We hope to see you in Warsaw on June 5. If you enjoy this type of content, you can share it with a friend. You can comment down below. But we'll be seeing you in the next presentation. And until then, bye-bye.